Hello, Goobers. It is me, your favorite Goober, and the job search continues, but I want to update you today on something else my manga. One of the things that I have been having trouble with is figuring out what I want to do for the more earlier side of things, right? For the beginning of the story. And while there's a lot to be done for the world and the society, how that all works together, you know, um, it's still important to figure out what I want to do with certain characters, you know? One of the things that I've been playing with is perhaps having a villain that I intended for much later down the line to either be hinted at in the beginning and then we'll bring them back up later, or to have a little more of a long term villain that's kind of there. They're problematic, but maybe they're not going to be the main focus. So it's like, okay, we have this big bad, but we've also got these other people that we got to deal with, so we'll deal with those first. And as the story builds up and the characters get stronger, we'll build up to this more end game villain that I've kind of created. Because realistically, this villain is supposed to be end game like material because I want to make them as powerful as possible and I want to give them the freedom to be powerful. So I've been kind of thinking about how I can do that, but honestly, if I was making this story differently, I would choose their power and follow a main character with it because, frankly, my creativity for this could be endless. It'd be so fun. But I'm sticking with my current main character for now. And back to my current main character, what about them have I come up with? Well, one of the things that I enjoyed thinking about was potentially having this idea for this early version of Rai, right? He's the main character, Rhiannon. If you didn't know, that's the name of the Celtic moon deity. So, fun fact about my character's name. He is going to end up as somebody, but I want to know how I get there. And one of the things that I can do is take character traits of the more endgame version of him and subtract it away from him in a reasonable sentence, right? And kind of see what that's like. What would he be like if I took away his emotional maturity? Much different character. What could I do to improve his maturity to the level that he's at by that point in time? And so thinking like that has been very useful because it's allowed me to kind of toy with a bunch of different versions of my character. And while I'm not 100% dead set just yet, one of the ideas that I liked was a bit more outside the box, but it kind of stayed within that. And it's about finding your own fighting style. I think it could be really fun to explore maybe the first little part of the story and kind of have him be a copycat in a way. You know, pick up on a lot of little things from maybe some of his encounters and whenever he's had to use his powers for whatever reason, and learning from them. You know, learning from tutors and getting a bunch of different ideas, but nothing really sticks. And I think that could be really fun. And then when you just get that moment in combat where it just clicks, that's my style. And then he just runs with it. Because I have a very specific style that he's going to be like by the end, right? And so, how does he get to that kind of style? And I think it could be a really fun story to tell, you know, in the beginning at least. Because this is not really a long term way he's going to be. Because at some point, I want him to find his style, start to expand on it, get good with it, and then I've got a very nice way to improve on it. And I think the natural evolution over time would be really fun. But finding that missing piece, because I already kind of had an idea for, okay, here's what the late game version of this, signature move is going to be like. That's cool. Here's what it is, kind of midway through the story, how he uses it for a majority of it until he gets really good at doing one certain thing. I can't spoil it. Finding that missing piece, which I think I have with this, of like finding your style, could be a really fun story to tell. And it can be, what is the right word, an allegory for like finding yourself in real life, right? Kind of finding out more about him, who he wants to be. instead of just saying it outright, we can just kind of do that through him finding his fighting style. Um, and I've just been like, I was really happy to finally figure that like final piece out of that little triad there. So we've got A, B, and C, and I really look forward to hopefully using that. So that's everything for today. I hope I didn't speak too much. This is like my third attempt trying to keep it to a minimum. But, well, you know me, I'm a bit of a yapper. See, I don't understand how authors just sit there and have a whole community jiving with their work, making all these theories and all these fun ideas, and not just sit there and like give a hint or something. Like I don't get it. Like how do you stay silent like a saint? I couldn't. I don't know. I'd be the worst. Maybe it gets easier. Maybe you like the secret vibes, but I just want to yap. I'm just like so passionate about this project that I just want to talk about it. Talk about every little detail. Give every little bit of context to every little thing I say. It's why these videos turn out to be so much longer on average, is because I'm just yapping my trap about things. So I'm going to cut it out right now. Good night and good luck. Bye bye.